to that. We're not doing a lab until next week in my class, so they should be safe. All right, well, we do have some things to cover. So I think I'll hand it over to our principal, Ms. Tabagian. If you'd like to do your welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Trachtenberg. Hello, advisory board. It's been a while. It's good to see all your faces. Thank you for joining us virtually again. I know it's a little disconcerting to keep doing this virtually, but it works really well for a lot of our advisory board members. So, you know, if you want to come in person, you're welcome to do that anytime you want. You don't even have to wait for an advisory board meeting. Just stop by school. We have our protocols in place. You know, we ask you those health check questions. You sign into our visitor log. But school is open and available for visitors. And we've already had some guest speakers, I hear, on campus presenting to our students. So we're open for business, full steam ahead. Opening has been very interesting, very rocky. We're testing weekly, and we're doing our own contact tracing. So we're like, you know, high school and CDC rolled into one. It's amazing here. I mean, talk about real life learning. I hope some of this is making it into the medical courses because it's going down, it's happening. Everyone is masked on campus. The only time they're really not wearing masks was when they're eating during lunch. Lunch is only outdoors. And while we're not social distancing, the combination of masking and sort of strategic seating and weekly testing and the upcoming vaccine mandate is proving to be very, very useful in driving our numbers down. When we opened, we were experiencing anywhere from 2 to 3 positive cases every week. And last week we had one, but it wasn't like, it was like off cycle. And this week we only had one, but it was again off cycle. From our regular testing, we've had 0 positive cases this week and last. So it's been amazing. So that's been the huge upside of all the vigilance and all the processes we've put in place to make sure we're keeping our community, staff, students, and families safe. I'm going to now hand it over back to the advisory board and Mr. Trachtenberg. Unfortunately, I have to jump off to go to another meeting. However, if you have any sort of feedback or ideas about how to utilize the rest of this year really well, as far as internships or guest speaker or work-based learning opportunities that you have in mind, I would love to hear about it. And I know I'm not going to be here, so I'm not going to actually be able to hear about it, but I will be watching this video later so that I can see all of your feedback. And that's it. And yes, Mr. Trachtenberg, I see your comment and I will ask Veronica to do that. All right. Okay. It was good to see all of you and see you soon.
Thank you, Mr. Bagian. So I know we kind of just jumped into things, but to just kind of recalibrate, the purpose of this meeting is really, it's something of a state of the union of our school to our industry partners who really provide us with so much. Our students in particular, in terms of volunteer, mentorship, internship opportunities, summer programs, and for many of them, higher education and even jobs beyond that. So it's a chance for us to sort of show you the impact that you're having, share some stories from within our community to, hold on. Share some stories from us to you to let you know what's working, provide resources for recalibration, etc., and let you know what new things have cropped up for us that we could use support with, and especially now, things are constantly changing. So not long ago, we were all logging in from home. Now we're back at school, but it's still not the same. And so what might have been needed a couple years ago has definitely followed suit and changed in kind. So as more of our students come and join us, I'm actually going to skip one item ahead in our agenda. I'm going to stop sharing and go over to the teacher voices item, where it says STEM teachers discuss their return to in-person teaching. And I don't think I have any pre-recorded videos. However, I do have a number of messages from some of our staff that I'd like to share, if I can find which tab I put them on. So they were basically asked the same questions as our students were, which is, what are some of the highs and lows from the transition back to in-person teaching / in-person learning? And was there anything unexpected that happened during that? So from my own perspective, as I do teach biology, AP biology, and work experience, there was definitely an unexpected effort, I would say, that went into returning to teaching physically in person, as opposed to from behind a computer all day. When we made the transition from in-person to at-home teaching, yes, there was an adjustment, but it wasn't really one of energy and physical requirements. Coming back into the classroom and being on your feet and actually moving in that space again, I realized, well, I have lost some stamina as far as this goes. So I think in the past months, I've regained most of that, but that was definitely something unexpected for me. Pretty obvious thing that would happen, but I just didn't. We were so caught up in making sure all the safety pieces were in place and everything else that it wasn't even something I thought about until I was wondering why I was so exhausted at the end of each day. But I want to share some other messages. So this is one of our CTE teachers from the medical pathways. And to the question, what are some highs and lows from the transition back to in-person teaching? She said, the high points, getting to see students again, working on hands-on activities, being able to monitor their learning more effectively. Because when they're in person, you can have a conversation, you can get feedback. Whereas when we were in the remote classroom, the tendency of many students was to kind of cloak behind their nameplate, and you weren't sure what was getting through and being understood. The lows, she pointed out, were hearing about how stressed students were last year, having to teach with a mask on all day, not being able to drink water whenever I wanted to in class, and having to remind students to wear their mask correctly, and essentially monitoring and policing that throughout the day. So for the unexpected question, she said, I didn't realize how difficult it would be to teach with a mask all day. And I definitely echo that from myself. Combine that with, not constantly sipping a coffee or having your water there. And I can probably hear it in my voice. Your throat kind of dries out. I'm sure there are plenty of mast fibers working their way back there that add to the problem. But it's definitely something we've had to adjust to. So, and then the last question is, what can our industry partners do to make the ongoing transition to in-person learning and teaching smoother, more enjoyable, more meaningful? And really, it goes back to hands-on and in-person activities when possible. So different organizations have, I know, different protocols and are at different stages in allowing students onto their respective facilities and campuses. But to the extent that that allows, from our end, students are able to go on field trips, and I'll talk about those specifics a little later. The only requirement is that whenever they arrive at their destination, that they abide by the protocols that are in place there. So they're ready for that as those opportunities become ready. So I'll go through this other one and then pause for any questions or comments. So this next one is from some of our engineering CTE teachers. And it starts with, the engineering team would appreciate resources in the following subject areas this year: mentors, guest speakers, virtual field trips, day in the life experiences, introductory lectures, presentations on career pathways, and project coaches would all be greatly appreciated. And in the agenda, there's something that says STEM virtual classroom supports. And many of you have filled that out in the past, but most of the options that I just listed are there on that form that you can select any and all that apply that you and your organization could provide and make happen in coordination with our teachers. So these are the courses that are within our engineering department, and I'm gonna put them in the chat along with teacher names, because engineering at traditionally had a little bit some more challenges in getting sustaining internships and other opportunities. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of the types of courses we're offering within that realm. So as you can see, Ms. Stone teaches our 11th and 12th graders courses within the computer science area, exploring computer science, AP computer science, and everyone's favorite, game design. Mr. Perez teaches both our newest engineering students, as well as those about to graduate, Intro to Engineering Design and Design Architecture, or coupled with digital electronics. And then Ms. Weitzel, I think this is her second year at STEM. She teaches our 10th graders Principles of Engineering, as well as the 11th graders in Civil Engineering and Architecture. So computer science, architecture and design, as well as electronics, are sort of the main focuses of our engineering pathway. And I think all of them, with the exception of computer science, follow the Project Lead the Way curriculum. If you're familiar with that, sometimes abbreviated to PLTW. So that's the curriculum that they use. So I want to pause here. I have a few more comments that I'll share, but I wanted to pause for a moment for any questions or comments that those may have engendered, if anyone has any. Awkward pauses are my specialty.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Hi, James.
sorry. I just switched devices here. So for those who I haven't met, James Finley, I'm an associate professor in physical therapy, biomedical engineering, and neuroscience at USC. So I actually this past year did some work with Ms. Hulsman's class, and we did a virtual field trip to my lab here at USC. But one of the core parts of this collaborative project that we have is related to game design and using games in the context of rehab for physical therapy. So I'd be happy to, to connect with you all and think about ways to get either the students here physically in the lab, or to just talk more about how we can use game design in the context of health.
That would be amazing. Yeah, and I want to go on that field trip if it happens.
You're welcome.
That sounds really wonderful. And it looks like we have a lot more of our students here. So agreed, McKean. So I'm wondering if our industry partners would mind doing what James just modeled and introducing himself, so that, because there are definitely some of you who may not have met, and I know some of our students want to meet you as well. So James, you went, and based on my list, who's next? Monica, would you mind going next?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Monica Lopez. I am from USC with the K-12 STEM Center. We have a lot of programs, but I'm in charge of the SHINE program, which is caters to 9th through 12th graders. A summer program where they're immersed in a research project with a USC professor.
Excellent. Thank you, Monica. Mary, would you mind going next?
Sorry, I was muted. Okay. I'm Mary Kapp, and I'm representing that other university across town, the good one. I'm from UCLA. I run a program called Community-Based Learning, and we frequently have opportunities for paid internships for the young people at STEM, as well as other schools. Right now, our internship recruitment is limited to students whose families are receiving CalWORKs, and or students who are experiencing unstable housing or homelessness. So if you at STEM have any of those young people who fit one of those two categories, let me know. We do have internships at the hospital at UCLA, so it does give a chance for young people to, in the medical field, to have a paid internship.
That's incredible. Yeah, Mary and James, I'll reach out to you both to follow up for sure. Thank you. Paula, would you go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Paula Arvidsson. I'm a STEM teacher trainer at Cal State LA, and we try to get our student teachers to the STEM Academy so they can see what good teaching is all about.
And we're definitely flattered for that compliment, and in all your involvement with us over the years. It's really invaluable, and you know, for all our partners too. It really adds so much validation to what we do with our students and to get them ready for where they're headed. Kathleen, would you go next?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathleen. I'm actually a STEM alumni. I graduated in the year 2017. And during my time at STEM, I was in the medical pathway. But as of right now, I actually just graduated last June from UCR. And I'm currently working at STEM right now as a college mentor. So I'm kind of just there to provide as much support to high school students, especially seniors, just to promote the idea of higher education and making sure that they feel supported as much as possible during these unprecedented times.
Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, I didn't know that she was working at STEM, and I saw her in the hallway, and I was like, Kathleen? And then we struck up this conversation, and here she is. So super grateful and super proud. I had her in AP Bio. Not that that's the reason why she graduated college, but it could be. So thank you for being here. McKean, would you mind going next?
Yeah, no worries. Good morning, everyone. My name is McKean Yassar. I am the coordinator for the Office of Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity at the Kaiser Permanente Bernard J. Tyson School of Medicine. We're a brand new medical school. We just started our first year of teaching last year, so now we have 2 classes of medical students. And our partnership with STEM Academy is primarily focused on mentorship and providing health exposures opportunities to young folks through the medical school. So we were able to launch a mentorship program where we grew medical students and residents together along with STEM Academy students. And then we also are looking forward to hosting more engagements this year virtually to have the students engage meaningfully with some of our faculty as well as our students and the residents. And then another initiative that we were able to do this past year is we had a virtual tour in the spring term, which was a really great experience, even coming from me as a staff. And then we also had a faculty member who is actually now at USC, who helped run a research program in partnership with Caltech, which was a great opportunity for our students. So glad to be here in this space. We collaborate with David specifically, and then also 2 of the programs at the school, specifically being the Teen Health Leadership Academy and the Internal Medicine Internship, which are both also through the KP network. So we help collaborate those initiatives.
And we've done all of that without ever having actually met in person. So that is a goal that I have for. I'm just going to set it for the end of 2022. Maybe like a brief handshake with McKean, and then we'll just go back to the computers. But that would be nice. For you too, James, and everyone else I haven't seen in person for a long time. But I think we got everybody.
David, I have,
Yes,
can I
ma'am.
interrupt for just a minute? I want
Please
to
do.
highlight one other program that I know STEM has been actively engaged with, and that's the UCLA AP Readiness Program. And so for those teachers or students that don't know about it, it's an opportunity once a month. Is it once a month? Yeah. Anyway, I should know this, seeing as my son is the director of that program. So
It's actually it's like twice a month, but one session is for the humanities courses and one is for STEM.
Right. Thank you, David. Thank you. So anyway, it's a very popular program, and it's continuing to be held virtually, so it's a little bit easier for the young people. So I encourage a continued engagement with that program from STEM faculty and students.
AP Bio is signed up, so
Okay.
they'll be hopefully attending tomorrow morning for the first STEM session. And
Well, I'll tell James to look out for you.
okay. I hope we have a strong presence. Thank you for that. Oh, AP Stats too. Nice. Very good. So I did want to share one more piece from our teachers in terms of some of their thoughts. So I don't know if you're familiar with Jamboards, but they are sort of a virtual whiteboard where you can post, messages and thoughts, and they kind of look like Post-it notes. So I'm gonna share what I have with that, and we can see some more of these thoughts. that we have. So let's see, luckily we can make things a little bigger. So again, these are teacher thoughts, and then we'll move right into our students who are here too. So again, the questions were basically, how has the return to in-person learning gone for you? Peaks, valleys, anything unexpected? What can our industry partners do to support you through this transition and after? This yellow one says, transitioning back to in-person teaching has had its pros and cons. For one, I'm happy to be able to see my students and actually interact with them. Seems to be a common theme. On the other hand, many have not been in a physical classroom, and it sounded like there was something really amazing coming after that. We'll have to.
And I think it should open up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like you're going to edit it. I think you can maybe see the rest if you double click.
See, yes. How do I? Here we are. On the other hand, many have not been in a physical classroom and therefore can treat the classroom like it's online learning, i.e. be on their phones when they please, use the computer for things other than classwork. I wonder how students can be helped in becoming readjusted to a school setting and create habits that will make them successful. For sure, I have seen that. Definitely. All right, this one, I'm going to do that for all of them so I don't miss anything. This says, it's been amazing to be back and able to interact with students in person. We can do labs and watch body language to know when someone's struggling, but the stress, contact tracing, exposure, and masks all day. Agreed. And let's look at this last one. It says, it is much easier to support students in person when we can actually see what they are doing and interact with them face to face. However, it has been challenging to have a dynamic classroom and offer differentiated supports when we need to keep students in the same groups for COVID reasons, and some students are unable to attend class due to quarantining. That's been a reality of the situation as well, where we've been adhering to pretty strict seating charts for the sake of contact tracing. Should someone test positive, we know based on the seating charts with whom they've been in contact all day long. So the tendency of many teachers are to set groups and then to change them. But in this environment, that's not really possible because it would make the sort of the effectiveness of contact tracing much more difficult in that respect. So definitely, I hear that. So I did want to share those additional comments. So the student interaction and being in person is, I think, a plus across the board. And then some of the adjustments we've had to make in order to do that have definitely posed some challenges as well. But as we are moving on in terms of time, I want to give our students a chance to share their views now that you've heard some teacher perspective. So our students today include, where'd they go? Let's get rid of that so I can see everybody. So I'm gonna have all of our students who are here introduce themselves. And if you could just say your name, grade level, and pathway, that would be great. And then we'll have you respond to the two questions, basically. Well, we'll start with one. How has the return to in-person learning been for you? So let's start with Casey. Could you introduce yourself, name, grade level, and pathway?
Hi, my name is Chasey. I am in the 11th grade, and I'm in the engineering pathway. And my experience back to school has been good because I have time after school to do my work, and I have the teachers there with me to ask for help. So I've had a good experience.
Thanks, Chasey. And then I guess we can do it that way. You can introduce yourself and then respond to the first question. That works. Brendan, would you mind going next?
Yes. Hi, my name is Brendan. I'm in the 11th grade medical pathway. So far, my experience coming back to school has been pretty good. I've been able to interact with my friends again a lot recently. Ask one thing I wasn't able to do during quarantine at home. Uh, Another thing that's been good is I've been able to go to tutoring after school to get help with my schoolwork and actually interact with my teachers, which is much more different than just emailing them and texting them questions, which is a lot harder because you don't get that in-depth explanation of classwork or homework. Uh, yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Brendan. Marley, would you mind going next?
Hi, my name is Marley Meeker. I am in 10th grade in the medical pathway. So far,
Hey, Marley, pause for a second. We're all in the same room, so if you guys can mute, then hopefully that'll reduce the echo.
my experience has had ups and downs. I love the classroom setting. It's a lot more structured and it's very helpful for me learning wise. But it is kind of distracting when there's all these students around you and they're not necessarily doing work on their computers. So, yeah.
Definitely. So now, students, I'm going to let you guys kind of free form on this one. And you can just say your first name again before you respond to keep that fresh. The second question that I wanted you to consider was sort of what can our industry partners, i.e. some of the folks represented here, do to support you through this? Meaning, what kind of outside of the classroom opportunities would you like to see in terms of whether it's a field trip or an internship opportunity or job shadowing or some sort of a site visit or simulation type experience? So think about that for a moment and then please respond when you're ready.
Hi, my name is Brendan. I feel like one thing that would be really fun would be job shadowing, because you just get to see what doctors and medical professionals, for me in the medical field, would be able to do, what their job is like, and the actual experience of it. And I don't think it would be that much of a problem of contact tracing either, because since we're shadowing, we'll just be going the exact same places as the doctor is going. So yeah, it's a bit more simple. And
Awesome. Thank you, Brendan.
I'm Marley. I feel like that we've been home for so long and missed out on so many in-person experiences that like field trips would be a great new experience that we haven't really had in the last year and a half.
Indeed. All right, Chasey, your thoughts?
My name is Tracy, and I would like to see more internship opportunities for the engineering pathway, because I've only seen medical internships with like Kaiser or scholarship opportunities as well, because I see them on Schoology, but I don't always check Schoology. So yeah, I would like to see that more in school.
Okay, so I'd like to open it up to really anyone, but in particular our industry partners, to respond to what they've heard, ask any questions that they may have, and continue this discussion a little further.
JC, what kinds of engineering internships would you like to see?
Like going to do what engineers do. Like, you know how there's different types of engineers? I would like to see what they actually do. 'Cause I just read what they work with, but I don't really know what they do.
So you'd like to explore different kinds of engineering opportunities?
Yeah,
Perhaps we could do something with Cal State LA's Engineering College.
That sounds incredible. Yeah, I think she hit upon a valuable point in that they learn a lot of engineering concepts and perhaps do learn, engineering techniques that are used beyond high school and in the field, but the more of a day-to-day kind of glimpse and seeing what engineers sort of at levels beyond where they are actually doing, I think would be, it's definitely something they don't normally get exposed to. So I think that would be super valuable.
And there's a huge aerospace industry in this area, and there are a variety of engineering internships that are possible.
Yeah, for sure. And we've definitely had some contact with some of those firms as well. So we'll continue pursuing those avenues as well. And I just saw from Kathleen McIntyre from Kaiser Permanente saying she will reach out to the hospital engineering department, which I didn't even think of. But of course, and see if there's opportunity and internships available there. That'll be great as well. Thank you.
I was thinking the same thing for UCLA. I know our facilities department has engineers in it. So, that might be an opportunity. It's totally different, but they're still doing engineering work.
Sure, absolutely. Oh yeah, biomedical engineering, absolutely. Yeah, Kathleen.
I actually wanted to share something from a more higher education point of view, and I feel like that as high school students who are interested in going into higher education, I feel like it's really important to start building those connections with professionals or people who are, currently in the kind of path that they're trying to go into. So I know that during my time in college, I was involved with my Filipino organization, and within my Filipino organization, I was an outreach board member. Basically, we connected a lot of the high school students with current college students at UCR, and we kind of created this mentorship program virtually, where we connected high school students with current college students, and we kind of just matched them with their pathway. And I do still have contact with the person who's still running that program. So if high school students are interested in connecting with, someone who's majoring in engineering, biomedical engineering, biology, stuff like that, that's definitely something I can put out and offer to high school students. In that way, they kind of get to foresee, the kind of path that they are planning to go into, and, the experiences it takes to get there. And it's just, they kind of get that one-on-one perspective from someone else who's trying to work towards that field.
Thank you, Kathleen. That's, you're proof positive, right? Like that's something that works. And it's something that, as McKean had mentioned, we've got sort of ongoing mentorships on the medical side and not as much of that on the engineering side. And I think that's really important, especially because there are so many, and there are obviously so many different fields in the healthcare industry, but engineering goes into so many different directions that students many times they don't know what they don't know, right? They don't know all the different fields that are out there. So bringing more of those to the front would be great. Would anyone else like to share or ask some questions? And I should like to note that Kathleen McIntyre, I mentioned you, but she just joined us from Kaiser, and she's head of the volunteer services department there, and has interacted with probably as many STEM students as I have over the years in many different capacities. So very grateful for all of those opportunities and your continued support, and so glad you were able to make it. And this idea of having our students connect with the facility / engineering department in the hospital and biomedical engineering is sounds amazing. And I look forward to following up, and hopefully we can make that happen. So thank you. So while people are processing, I did want to point out sort of again, things are constantly changing, but as I mentioned earlier, our current policy for student field trips and in-person visits are simply that they follow the school district protocols while here, and then the protocols of the location they're visiting once they arrive. So mask mandate, social distancing, whatever is in place, we're required to abide by that. So that's basically the policy. The only issue that we as a school need to contend with is transportation. So if we're taking 100 students to a particular location, we have to account for social distancing on a bus, let's say. So it can't be 2 to a seat anymore. We've got to kind of do like 1 to a seat or something like that. But that's really on our end of things. But so field trips and in-person visits are definitely possible if you're thinking of possibilities along those lines. So I'll leave this space open for another minute or two for additional comments, questions, etc. And then I suppose we'll wrap up this edition of our advisory board meeting.
I just put a link in the chat for a program at USC that offers summer internships for high school students. And I'm not familiar with the program in much detail, but they do offer opportunities in engineering in some of the various domains of engineering. So that might be something that students can consider to get more exposure to engineering.
Thank you, James. I copied and pasted that, so we got it.
I also wanted to highlight the SHINE program at USC. We also have a variety of engineering fields, and students are paired with mentors and PhD students who can guide them through the research process, and they get to see the day-to-day process of what different engineering fields do, and more in-depthly. So they do a research poster, they get to see the project from end to finish, depending on the amount of of like skills you have, but they definitely do prepare you to have a different mindset. So I know some students in biomedical engineering were looking at cancer cells and trying to figure out what they can do to reduce the symptoms or reduce the cancer cells from spreading and things like that. And they also have chemical, material science, robotics. So definitely a lot of different fields to look into during the summer.
And, oh yeah, go ahead.
Would it be possible, I know you've done this in the past, but I've probably lost it, would it be possible for you guys to compile a new roster of our advisory board members with their contact, so that if we want to connect with one of the members, we were able to do that individually?
I can absolutely do that. Assuming everyone on the meeting is okay with my sharing names and emails, then yeah, I will absolutely get that information to you. So that's a great idea. And I did want to point out that students, I think currently she is your student body treasurer, but Miriam Garcia participated in the Shine program last summer, and I saw her poster, and I don't know, I think she should be in college like right now, because it blew me away. And she's I was lucky enough to have her freshman year. She was an incredible student then, and she's just kind of continued on that trajectory. And I believe her research was on antibiotic resistance, something like that. I think it was, and it was, I mean, it had like the complexity of college level, if not beyond work, as well as sort of kind of like the heart that she always puts into everything she does. So it was really, it was really incredible. And I know that the Shine program that you and Katie Mills, help run is just incredible. So we will definitely keep pushing our students to apply and participate, for sure. So I have all of your emails, so I will reach out to you with each other's emails if you don't already have them, so that any conversations and ideas that have started here can continue onward and aren't self-contained in our wonderful little Zoom room. So I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their Friday mornings to attend, to hear some of the experiences coming from our school and interact with our students and continue to support them and offer their time and efforts to help them really get to where you are. So that's what this is all about. And with any luck, the next meeting of this variety that we have will be in person, still with a virtual opportunity, so we can get as many people to attend as possible. But once again, thank you so much. And I feel like Ms. Aguirre, after all of this, and Ms. Molly, I'm not sure if you're still here, if you're knee deep in experiments, but if you wanted to just quickly introduce yourselves, so we don't leave without that happening, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm Miss Aguirre. I'm the AP Stats teacher this year and Algebra 2, and part of the Community Outreach Committee.
Hi, sorry, I just in time I heard you, David. I'm Miss Molly, the chemistry teacher here at STEM Academy. It's my 6th year here, which is crazy. It went by so fast. But yeah, it was nice to see you all.
Thank you, teachers. I think as teachers, we have a tendency to do that, kind of forget about our own introductions. But we need to make sure that we do that, so we remember we're all a part of it. And with that, I want to thank you again. I will be emailing you, and I think Ms. Aguirre put the link to that STEM virtual classroom supports, where you can, it's a very quick form, and it actually provides your contact information for us, even though we have it for the most part. But any of the type of opportunities we talked about that that you're either able to offer or would like to discuss further, that form sort of helps facilitate that. So thank you again. Have a wonderful Friday and weekend, and we will we'll all be in touch soon. So stay safe out there, everybody. Thank you again.
I'm gonna stop the recording and
Okay.
I think the live. Does it just stop the live stream if we close the meeting, I'm assuming?